You're welcome to the world of global English. It is quite evident that the whole world is changing at a faster pace, and I think most of the changes are good. Of course, we have passed through a pandemic, a devastating pandemic, and that's over. And again, people started to move to different continents. It can be easily observed that many paradigm shifts are being taken place. There is a new trend that even after completing plus two, students at the age of 17, they prefer to study abroad in progressive nations such as Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Ireland, Canada, America, Malta, Germany, and even in Scandinavia. So different places they go and they slowly get PR, their permanent residence, and then they settle there. So at home we discuss whether it is good or bad, and the politicians have different views, religious leaders have different views. These are all different perceptions, but please understand that realities must be accepted. Those days are gone when we were born here and we studied here, lived here, and then at a later stage will be buried here. These days people think of studying in one place and going abroad for higher studies, then they prefer to settle somewhere else because of the employment opportunities. And then more than that, they prefer to settle after the age of 60 or 65, and then they will be buried somewhere else. That has become the norm. We cannot assume that this change is bad. It is definitely good. Let's analyze the different aspects of that one. Please note that, before most of the countries were based on agriculture, or before last 2 decades, people were focusing on manufacturing, industry, and all these things. Those days are gone. Everything is online now. Everything is based on the internet, and the software has also changed the way people live. That means, communication has become instantaneous and people can do business, banking, teaching, everything online now. So that's a big change. That has influenced the way people think. Now, people consider that they should have the freedom where to study for a better job and where to settle and how to lead a peaceful life. Everything. People decide. Politicians have little or no room, or the governments have no rule or no say in these type of things. People decide because they are educated, they can stand on their own feet, and they make or mar their life. That's quite natural. So please don't assess or analyze the present paradigm shift on the basis of some prejudices or preconceived notions, or what we thought was the best during the last 2 decades. Need not be, because everything is being changed. And before proceeding further, I have to give a basic introduction about this 4 global exam. There are other exams on English language. IELTS, it should be sounded IELTS, not IELTS. IELTS, OET, PT, and TOEFL. IELTS, people are assessed on the basis on 4 modules. So are other 3 exams, OET, PT, TOEFL. LSRW, they call it listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And then IELTS is different because they have a particular pattern for reading. And also, most cases, humans are conducting the speaking module. But when you come to OET, it is exclusively for healthcare professionals. That means IELTS, PT, and TOEFL can be taken by anybody. It is a general test of English, assessing all the 4 language skills, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And these 3 exams can be used for anybody, for a plumber, for a welder, for a carpenter, for a college professor, for a doctor, everything same. Okay, but OET is exclusively for healthcare professionals. They state that OET is a test of English language in clinical setting. Therefore, their reading is comparatively easier. That doesn't mean that it is very easy. It is comparatively easier. And speaking, definitely it is in another way. There, it is being conducted by role plays. But when we come to TOEFL and PT, that is available not in paper and pen. These two are computer-based tests. Okay. Of course, IELTS also has come with computer-delivered test, but the speaking module is by a human being. So in a PT and TOEFL, no human marking is there. So they claim that they have consistency in assessing the result of candidates. Okay, let us come to something else. Compared to the exams in India on English language, all these four global exams are not into assessing your ability in literature. No poetry, no drama or plays, nothing. They are just assessing your common sense and your ability to communicate in a college, because all these three exams are mainly for students who are abroad in progressive nations for higher studies. And at this juncture, I think I should give you an idea about what is progressive nation. A progressive nation means where human rights are respected. There is gender equality, generally. Gender equality is observed. And also people are not assessed on the basis of or categorized on the basis of caste, creed or religion. In addition to all these things, in progressive nation you have freedom of expression, freedom of religion, everything. So governments have little to do in these type of nations. And generally in progressive nations such as Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, Canada, America, all these places, law and order is comparatively good. Okay. So when I say this one, what comes to your mind is the gun violence in America, of course. In other countries, generally, crime rate is there, alcoholism, drug addiction, everything is there, but the percentage is less, and most importantly, women are given enough importance. They are respected. Okay, coming back to IELTS and PT, TOEFL, OET, please note that they have a different pattern of assessing you. So without any literature or anything like that, no criticism of language. In IELTS, for example, essay topics, it can be anything under the sun, any topic. But you have to ensure that you have some level of objectivity. That means logical thinking or rational thinking. Then your ability to substantiate your argument. They ask for examples. Examples means it can be from your own experience, from your own reading, and from what you have seen on a TV maybe. But whatever it is, we have to establish our fact. You have the freedom to balance your view by discussing others' opinion. But you should be smart enough to refute it, to give more weightage for your argument. Now coming back to PT and TOEFL, please note that no human face. In writing, they have no graph, and their listening is in another way. And they call it integrated modules. That means in a single test, they are assessing your writing ability. You have to listen to in the same writing. So it is totally different from IELTS. You listen to a lecture, then you have to make your opinion on that one. Sometimes you have to listen to a discussion, then state your view and all these things. In all these three tests, other than OET, your logical ability, objectivity is assessed. And also your global perspective. Can you think logically? Because in progressive nation, there is something called research. Okay, research means research. Okay, and there, students are going to be evaluated on the basis of their ability to write well, speak well. All these should be on the basis of reason. Reason means logic. That is another meaning. Okay, now this is the basic introduction of all these global exams. For want of time, I would like to conclude here. And at the same time, I would like to tell you that, we have written 7 books on IELTS and TOEFL Medici, and also IELTS writing made easy, and then OET at the first attempt, and then OET speaking made easy, then OET made easy writing, that is writing section. So I have written 7 books. All are available in the market, or it is available at B-GHUD bookstall, or you can send us a request and we will send it to you. Then please note that without any boasting, I can tell you these books are the only comprehensive books with explanation and with steps to improve your level of English. We focus on all these things: how to improve spelling, grammar, pronunciation, then lexical resource. Everything is taken care of. So you can depend on this one. And with this one I conclude. You should listen the next part of this one, this particular video. Then that will give you a lot of ideas on how to get a good score at the first attempt. B-GHUD stands for helping you get a good score at the first attempt, or the required score. But we can't promise 8 in IELTS at the first attempt. Everything depends on 70-30, 70% from your side and 30% from our side. So it's the case with any institute. And one more request, being an elderly man, I'm telling you, please don't fall a trap into advertisement gimmicks. There are people who are paying money for reviews in Google, and there are some other group of people who are paying a lot of money for marketing gimmicks. I think we could exist even today after 26 years purely because we have been delivering quality. And with this note, I conclude this particular video. Thank you.